Welcome back to Geek Show Arcade. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since you've had a real arcade.
No, longer than that because we took a break.
It's been 3 weeks since you've had a real arcade.
That's so long.
Think about that.
And I've been to 2 arcades since then. Actual arcades.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Go figure. All right, this is Geek Show Arcade, where we talk about video games and video game related things. But let's first start by introducing our illustrious panelists.
Hey, that's me.
And also Lando. So we'll start with Owen.
Follow me here mostly on Blue Sky. I'm trying to be more active. I don't do New Year's resolutions because I always just let myself down, but I am trying to be more active. Yeah, thanks, but you know, no one's harder on me. No one's harder on me than me, Jaron. Okay.
And
Are you sure? I can try.
No, I'm bulletproof. You don't need to do that.
You give him a chance, and I think he might prove you wrong.
No. I think you should just take my word for that, Jaron.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
He is very hard on Owen. He's Jaron.
I'm hard on Owen.
Oh no. I heard it.
What?
Punctuation matters.
You said
Phrasing.
Anyway, I'm Jaron. You can find me on Blue Sky at Geronius. Or is it Geronimo? I don't even remember.
Oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Tell me right now.
You're Geronius on Blue Sky.
Geronius.
Called me out last show.
Yeah.
For not knowing mine. Mine's Tech Knowing, by the way.
Yeah.
So
there you
do
go.
that.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
And you have a picture now. You look great.
I did. I put a profile picture up there.
And we have a host. His name is Tony.
About me.
We have a Lando. His name is Lando.
No, it's fine. I know where I stand. It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
Keep going, Tony.
Tony said
Do the
illustrious
Tony
guest
thing.
and Lando. He already introduced you.
Lando.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I don't think we've gotten Lando. Lando's
Go
usually
cry in the corner?
Lando's usually pretty immune to our teasing. That one hit the
hurt.
mark.
You
Yeah,
have
that one
cut-
hit the.
You have cut him deep. All right, I'm Tony. Check me out on Blue Sky at Quad T or on other Geek Show podcast stuff.
This is the part where Tony, where you say, and we have this other guy named Lando. I guess we'll talk about him.
I was gonna say, did you want to introduce yourself, Lando, or are you
I'm
done?
Lando. You guys know me. I'm the Patreon pimp. So
Simp.
There you go.
Patreon simp.
Simp. Don't get there's big
All
difference.
right. Do we have any emails this week?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
For some reason, it was sent to the promotions tab, but luckily I managed to see it for some reason.
Good job, Karen.
This is from Matt Nelson. He says,
Oh, hey, Matt.
we demand a recount. On last week's In Between, Tony was asked the Konami code, in which he stated, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start, and was told it was wrong. Technically, it is up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and the select start or start after the code was to select 1 player or 2 player and start the game.
Matt's got my back.
This is
That's
gonna
what
help
I'm
me.
talking
This is
about.
gonna help me as a loner. I
I
can
always
feel
found it interesting to see who recited as select start and those that recited as just start. Does this indicate who had friends as a child?
Oh, there it is. Dang it.
Well, anyways, food for thought, and glad to know that Tony had friends growing up.
Yes. Thanks, Matt.
You won
Well
anyway.
I was gonna say it didn't matter. I still obliterated the other guys.
Yeah.
So,
Some of that great in between content
I think
you can
we-
catch for the Patreon subs.
Yeah, I still
right.
think we should do a recount. Anyway, oh, Tony got all those.
Okay,
points.
Tony gets one more. Recount done.
I win by even more.
Shoot! I feel like that backfired somehow.
Excellent. All right, cool. Any other emails?
No, that's it.
All right, let's talk about stuff. Okay, first we got to get this. We got to get this out of the way. It's nonsense. It's a lie. Don't believe it. Half-Life 3 is not coming. There
Guys,
is no
Half-Life 3
evidence, no
is totally
proof.
coming.
Oh, Jaron,
And
do
let me
not
tell you
get
why.
Our hopes up. This is malarkey.
I'll tell you why. Mike Shapiro, who is the G-Man,
The voice of the G-Man.
yeah, he tweeted a week or two ago. He posted a video in which he refers to unexpected surprises in the voice of G-Man. Unexpected surprises for the next 25 years.
So it's 25 years away.
We may get unexpected surprises in the next 25 years that I hope isn't more climate change.
Yeah, that's not.
Those
a
are
surprise.
those are expected changes.
No. And with that, on top of that, in addition to that, before that,
Also,
What are you getting at?
also, there was evidence that Valve was working on Project White Sands. This was on an actor's website, and White Sands is referring to an area of New Mexico where Black Mesa supposedly is.
Here's what I think.
And on Valve's Steam page, it currently lists 2 projects beneath its upcoming releases, one of which is Deadlock, which is that MOBA that everyone knows about,
Yeah,
and another one that's locked away.
I think they've been working on Half-Life 3 ever since Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out, and they've scrapped it and rebooted it 9 times. And it's not any closer today than
give me
it
a score.
was.
Give me a score though. What do you think with this? With Jaren's tinfoil hat dot?
yeah.
You know, give me a. What do you think on that? Do you think what's your score? Would you say a 4 out of 10? Oh yes.
Got my tinfoil hat.
Oh,
I think
Okay.
Half-Life 3 already came out, and it was Half-Life Alyx, and it was amazing.
Yeah, but that was a prequel. So
Do you think
Yeah,
it? Do you
Half-Life
think?
3.
Do you think
Half-Life
it-
3 needs
Indiana
to
Jones
continue.
2 was a prequel. It's still
Half-
called Indiana Jones 2.
Half-Life 3 needs to be a continuation of the Gordon Freeman story.
So using his connect the dots
Once
here.
again, Temple of Doom. It is a sequel prequel.
For Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Guess who's
exactly.
not in Half-Life Alyx? Gordon Freeman.
He's mentioned.
That's what I say to that. Anyway, tinfoil hat's on.
You feel better right now, but you
I
feel
do.
safer.
I
You
do. I feel safer.
Yeah.
The Half-Life 3 waves are no longer penetrating my skull.
Okay. Give us
And-
I want a true accounting right now of what you think of Half-Life.
Wait. Did you say accounting?
He
Yeah.
did.
Say it
that
again.
was Jaren's.
I want
don't do it.
Jaren's been
true-
called.
a true accounting.
Deeper voice this time.
A true
No.
accounting.
Slower.
No, you're just no,
a
don't.
true accounting.
I'm getting
of
all kinds of
Half-Life.
weird vibes right
I
now.
know,
I
okay.
don't like
Yeah, that's
this.
good. That's good.
Good thing I
Okay.
got my tinfoil hat
Say
on.
debit now.
Ooh, give me some debits and credits.
Suddenly,
yeah.
only fans.
Let me-
Keep moving,
say-
Tony.
let
Tony,
me-
your
let
job's
me-
keep the show on the road.
Say
Can I-
equity.
Can I scroll through your equity sheets?
Owen's not paying. Owen, Jared's not paying you enough to do this. Next time,
Boom.
ask
Yeah,
him for
why are
his
you
Venmo.
giving away the milk for free, man?
But
Yeah.
I need the attention. I think this is how it always starts.
Start the OnlyFans account and tell Jared to subscribe. Tony, let's
An
go.
Owen fans account.
Oh, Daddy Longlegs, go check it out.
Don't.
Don't
Anyway,
don't
yeah,
actually.
I mean, I would love. Nobody wants Half-Life 3 more than I do, but there's. I just.
You think those are-
I have no faith in it. I
You're
have
too
no-
far
Me,
apart.
No,
You think
no
there's-
third
Yeah.
Valve game.
Yeah. But if it did happen, man, I would be the first one buying a new graphics card to play it to the scenes.
You're buying a new graphics card anyway.
You're gonna spend
Exactly.
$2,000 on one of those
It's-
new graphics cards.
I am
Probably.
absolutely
I
going
don't
to.
think there's any question.
Dude, you
All
should
right.
have seen.
That's
You should have
insane.
seen him at the Nvidia keynote.
I was gasping in anticipation.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially
At
when
the
you
wrong
read
times.
the screen wrong and you thought the price was going to be $1,600.
gasping into the silence.
Okay, Mister.
know, that's-
I thought the robots were real.
Yeah, but I didn't gasp out loud and go, "Guys, look at the robots!"
No,
Yeah.
you kind of did. You're like, wow, look at those. They're like, oh, I think they're not
Yeah.
real.
I was milliseconds behind Tony on that, but you burned him first, and so
They
I
had
kept my mouth closed.
they had a very good screen on.
It
It was
fantastic
super,
screen.
yeah,
It
it's
was
super
high
good.
res. All right, let's talk. Oh, let me take my tinfoil hat off. There we go.
There's those Half-Life vibes now.
Nope, all
Oh,
gone. Okay, let's talk about. I mentioned this in the help desk episode the last help desk episode, the Govee stuff at CES. So Govee, if you don't know, is basically RGB puke for your walls and
For
your
every-
desk
for your
and your
everything,
house.
right?
Yeah,
Your-
everything. They do, and I say RGB puke lovingly because I think
Yeah.
the products are pretty damn
In the
cool.
fondest form of puke.
They have all kinds of.
It's like puke
things-
after you drink a nice orange soda. It tastes like
good.
orange
Going
soda
up.
coming out.
Yep,
Yeah.
going up and coming out, or going
Yeah.
down and coming up. But the booth specifically had a couple of gaming areas where they showed off some things that I thought were really cool. So they've branched out from just the kind of tiles on the wall that you can put up that are like, what do they call those? Nano leafs. The other brand is Nano Leaf, I think. And Govee has their own that look a little bit different and neat, but they've also got these new ones that they've come out with that are thicker, and they're a little bit bubble shaped, like rounded, but they represent individual pixels, and so you can put a whole grid of them on your wall and make pixel art, really big pixel art.
That's freaking dope.
It's way cool. And then if you want a smaller version of that, they have these little stands that you can buy.
They're called Govee Gaming Pixel Light.
Yeah, Govee Gaming Pixel Light. And the other one was called the Govee Mini Panel Light.
Are they 32? What's the pixel size? You guys remember? It was 32? 64?
I can't remember, but they had two sizes. They had one that looked like it was about 8 by 8 inches, and they had one that looked like it was about 8 by 13. And imagine a light bright where you didn't
32
have
by
to,
32. I just counted the pixels.
There you go. A light bright where you didn't have to plug in each little thing separately. You could just tell it what you want it to be.
Oh, I've always wanted one of these.
And make a moving, make a moving picture or whatever, moving image, like pixel art. It was just really cool looking. And they have, along with those, just all kinds of lighting stuff that is just really neat. I sound like a Govee shill right now, but I don't even own any Govee products, I don't think.
We have some.
Yeah, neither
You
do
can't be a shill until you own products, Tony.
We
Own
have.
products first, then shill.
I have
I'm not a
some.
shill yet.
I've got some smart lives for them.
There you go.
The Govee app is fantastic. Let me just tell you. And
Shill.
they work really good. They work really good. We use them outdoors, and because we're not rich enough to have like permanent Christmas lights, like the jellyfish lighting, but we are like up classy enough to have color changing bulbs in our outdoor lights.
I actually
for the seasons.
I don't like the jellyfish lights. I don't like the way they look. But yeah, I'm a bigger fan of like bulbs anyway. So
yeah, there you go.
You're just
so
classy.
I'm out of
Like
everybody
me.
on the panel. I have the Govee stuff, so I can say that I liked their stuff and I'm a user.
And they also have a competitor to the Philips Hue TV backlight,
Right.
which I've read and seen things on that does quite a good job as well. It's ambient lighting for the behind your TV. Anyway, yeah, check out the new stuff they showed off at CES though. Those Pixel devices, the Pixel Light and the Mini Panel Light. I just thought they were really cool. All right, moving along to Sony announced some more movies. Not Spider-Man related movies that don't have Spider-Man in them.
Would they just give it up? They
Now
just
it's
need to
time
give
to
that.
mine-
They need to
now-
give up that IP.
It's time to further mine the video games.
Yeah, and unfortunately for all of us, it's not more Uncharted. What are they thinking?
Phew, dodge that
No one
bullet.
knows.
Hey, no. I
All
want
the
to
actors,
see.
all the actors are dead now, right? It's been so long. They're all old. They can't.
No. I want to see Mark Wahlberg with a Sully mustache for an entire movie. That was fantastic.
Hmm.
The last 10 seconds of that movie were the best 10 seconds.
Is this what's going to happen with Wheel of Time too? The
All right, I'm
last
done.
10 pages are going to be great. So did you want to say what the movies are they're going to make?
No,
or-
I just wanted to talk about Uncharted.
I figured. Okay, so I'll say what they are. They're making a Horizon Zero Dawn movie and a Helldivers movie.
Is Helldivers just going to be Starship Troopers?
Helldivers is Starship Troopers.
Come on.
Let's be frank about this.
It's a cool
I think
concept.
They're going to
you know?
make it funnier, probably
Yeah.
more tongue in cheek, and I'm there for it. I think it has the potential to be pretty cool. Horizon Zero Dawn, though,
Is
what
that
are
a
they gonna
zombie?
do with
I don't
this? No,
I don't even know
it's
what that game's about.
It's the futuristic robot dinosaur game.
Oh, that's right.
It's a
With
solid
Aloy.
game, and it has
It's
a solid story, but for
great
some reason,
games.
I'm not excited about a movie for some I just
No,
don't
because
know
they
why.
already told. They have to tell a different story in that universe. They can't retell Aloy's story.
They will.
There's no point. What they
So
need
you think
to
they
do,
move it to a TV series then?
What
like a
they need to
miniseries?
do is they need to tell the story of how the world got to where it is. the catastrophe that led up to
Oh, like a
things
prequel.
are
That would
right
be
now.
neat.
A prequel that
Yeah.
explains why the world is the way it is now. Because they hint at it a lot. They explain a fair amount of it, especially in the second game. But I would like to see the whole story told. That would be cool.
Though I must say, the way that they divulge that information is pretty cool in the game,
It is.
and they would lose that if they did a prequel.
Yeah. But if you haven't played the game already, chances are you're not going to play it. So it doesn't.
I mean, they could do
matter.
a similar reveal in the movie, similar to how the game did it.
Yeah, but then you have to retell Aloy's story. Anyway, other stuff at CES. Let's go back to that. Razer announced a new chair, and
Woot.
it's pretty cool, actually. They're calling it Project Ariel, and it's a mesh computer chair, but the sides have vents, and they have a compact heater fan assembly that you can turn the heating element on or off, so you can either cool yourself with air from the vents, or you can have the air heated if you're cold and warm yourself up on the chair.
So it doesn't actually chill the air, though, does it?
No, it doesn't chill the air. It's just like a fan, for.
Still better than nothing.
But yeah, it's absolutely better than nothing. And the fact that it's mesh means that you'll have more breathability as well. So this looks like it's perfect for people that get sweaty while they sit in their computer chair. So anyway, I just thought that was pretty neat. And of course, it has RGB lighting. When it's on the cool mode, the RGB strip around the whole thing is blue.
It wouldn't be a Razer product if it didn't
That's
have
right.
RGB lighting.
That's
Though
right.
I don't know how I feel about a chair with a cord coming out of it that has to be plugged in,
Yeah, that is one downside.
especially for like an office type chair with wheels.
Yep, that is something to consider for sure. So they didn't. I don't think they put a release date on here. Yeah, it's a concept at this point, but the reception to this idea was overwhelmingly positive from every article I've read and seen people comment on it. So I wouldn't be too surprised if this actually did come to market sometime.
Oh man.
Kind of neat.
Sorry.
Kind of neat.
Be sweet if it sat atop a wireless charging pad that had a cord coming out, so you didn't have to worry about a cord while moving around.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What was that chair? What was that chair we sat in that one white label booth? What was that place? Jaron and I sat in it, and it didn't have.
Yeah, it was that gaming
Yeah.
peripheral company, Tony, that you were talking to someone about in the Venetian.
Was that Blacklight? No, I can't remember. It was they were a company that represented a bunch of other companies in getting their products out, but they didn't actually make the stuff themselves. Anyway, let's talk about a new Mario Brothers speed running record.
Right, so I think I've mentioned this on the show a couple times, but I'm a secret speedrunner fan. Like I like watching runners. I like watching the community. I like watching AGDQ. I like the whole culture around speedrunning. I think it's very interesting. And every once in a while, there's a story that pops up that kind of perks my attention, and usually it's around new records around Super Mario Brothers for the NES. Super Mario Brothers for the NES is one of those games that has been quote unquote optimized, right? There's very, very few games that have been like optimized to this level. And the competition being very, very fierce, right? Because Super Mario Brothers is a pretty popular game. If people want to get in a speedrun, you're like, I want to speedrun my favorite game from my childhood. I'm gonna run this game. Little do they know that it's pretty optimized. So a player here, and I'm gonna butcher his name because I haven't actually watched his streams yet. But it's Nifitsky. Maybe
Nailed
I'm
it.
right. Yeah,
Looks like Nifsky.
Nivsky just put up a new world record for this, clocking at 4 minutes 54 seconds .565 in the any percent category. So for those of you who aren't familiar with with speedrunning, any percent literally means get to the end of the game and see the credits as quickly as possible. So for Super Mario Brothers, that means from the moment the player gains control of the character Mario to the moment they touch the final axe and kill Bowser is how the time is set. And the competition has been super fierce, but over the years, the time's been coming down and down and down. If you're into this, like I am, you can go watch. There's a video on YouTube by a guy named Summoning Salt. Does a fantastic history of all the world records for a lot of different games, this game especially. But anyway, Nifsky here just set a new world record. And they are now 18 frames because this game is so optimized. They're measuring in frames at this point. They're
Jeez.
18 frames away from the quote-unquote perfect run.
Meaning there's nothing else you could do to shorten the run any further.
Correct.
So
Just
you're
because the
hitting the
limitations
buttons at exactly the right time
Yep.
for like 5 minutes straight.
Exactly the right frame.
Wow.
It's 0.03 seconds, but yeah, 18 frames. If you watch there's a video in the article. You can watch him do it. He's got a heart rate sensor he wears while he runs, and his heart rate goes from about 95 to 100 when he starts the run to like 180 and he gets to the last level
180,
on a good
wow.
run.
Wow.
So
Because,
you're
I mean,
so
he
you're
just
saying
does this over and over and
so
over
you're saying
again.
because of the 18 frames that are left, that's the peak you could do. That's only 0.03 seconds. That's the most you could improve now.
Yeah,
Is-
because
wow.
it's mostly due to the way this original Mario game works. It has what's called a frame rule. So no matter how fast, so like the first level, no matter how fast you do it, the game only checks to see if you've finished the level every so many frames. And so even if you're like, most of the levels don't matter anymore because they're always hitting the exact same time. And even if you're just a little bit faster, you still hit the same frame rule and the game checks at the same time every time for those levels. The only level left with any optimization that matters is 8-4, the very last level.
The Bowser
And the
level.
way they do that. And it's mainly around, there's one part where they have to wall jump off a pipe, and there's another part where they have to do a turnaround in order to get a wrong warp in a pipe. Super fascinating stuff.
I'm watching it right now. It's like watching a computer do it.
Interestingly,
It's insane.
he plays an emulated version of it though. He's not playing on original hardware,
Right,
Yeah,
so this article actually talks about
but
that.
it's allowed, I guess.
Yeah, so the speedrunner communities set their own rules, and they're usually pretty strict, right?
Mhm.
But emulators are allowed, as well as keyboard input controls. The only thing that's not allowed is he has to verify after this run is over that he can't press
L&R.
L and R at the exact same time.
Gotcha.
So other than that, it's totally with kosher according to the
This-
rules set by
you
the
know, this-
community.
In 25 years, this will be the new argument on whatever gaming podcast is there. Like we did when we covered what was the DK one that got defrauded, or
Oh yeah,
was that other
Kong
guy?
Jr.
Donkey Kong Jr. that got like we took his record away, and it was like on
Billy
on-
Mitchell.
on what system?
Yeah.
You know, there's like 7 or 8 people that care or that they're still alive. So
The Donkey Kong Jr. one was arcade.
yeah,
So arcade cabinet. But yeah. Interesting. All right, cool.
Anyway, this is one of those like news articles that pops every once in a while. I go, that's a big deal.
Indeed. All right, we're going to go back to some stuff that we saw at CES right after this. Right before CES kicked off, the guy over at Retro Tink. If you know what Retro Tink is, then that means you're way into old school gaming
that
and
sounds
making
so
it
close.
making it look good on modern displays. So Retro Tink came out with a Retro Tink 4K last year, which is a very fascinating and
Ooh.
expensive and cool piece of kit where you can put basically any input from an old console, and he's designed this box. It will take that with zero latency, upscale it to 4K, and add all kinds of different filters and stuff on it to make it look like a CRT or whatever you want, specific kind of CRT, all of these cool things. And it does so all without adding any additional latency, and allows for you to use the original hardware, just running the AV cables through this and then HDMI out to the TV. Now, the thing with the RetroTink 4K is it is pricey, $750 for this box.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
But he has announced coming out this year, he's calling it a new box, the RetroTink 4K CE, which is a more affordable option that is not quite as powerful. It will still do the 4K upscaling. It will still do the majority of the filters and everything that you would expect. Still has all the same inputs and outputs. There's just a few settings that it won't be able to do that require more power than the FPGA chip that he has in this one. But as a result of using this less powerful FPGA chip, he's able to bring the price down from 750 to 475.
Hey, that's not bad.
So much, I want to say a more affordable version, but still quite expensive. You have to be pretty hardcore into the old school gaming if you want to run one of these and justify the cost. But very cool that is an option now. And the other neat thing is the regular 4K and the 4K CE use the same firmware. So anything he develops for the 4K, as long as it doesn't require too much extra power, it should still work on the CE. And as long as he's updating the 4K, the CE cheaper model will also be getting updates. So really, really cool stuff. He says possible sale date around February or March. So keep an eye out for that if you're into the old school gaming.
You gonna pick it up, Tony?
If you'd asked me like 3 years ago, I would have. I was more into the collecting of nostalgia for video games back then. Currently, I don't know. Oh, it also does full HDR, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's
Papa Tony's got to save up for that 5090.
That's the thing. I at this point, I would prefer to buy the new tech for the new stuff than the new tech for the old stuff. But that might change sometime. Who knows? Here's what it supports, though.
This has a ton of port density. Like, it supports almost every single format.
It supports SCART, which was only in Europe and Japan.
I've done that a few
RCA
times.
jacks, VGA, composite and S video, digital video input, Toslink audio input, and for the output, it still has all the CRT simulations, does HDR, does scaling and cropping with lots of different filters, interpolation filters, things like that. And I think I said 4K already. Anyway, but yeah, and then the things that it doesn't do in the video I was watching about it is it's mostly just the stuff that the really hardcore folks are into, like inverse telecine. I don't know what that is. No IIR blur support. Wow. Oh, the one thing that it doesn't do that maybe would be bothersome if you want it is BFI. It doesn't do black frame insertion.
It says it does basic BFI.
Or I should say,
insertion.
it doesn't do the specialized black frame insertion. No alpha bending or colored insertion. So it still does regular BFI. So once again, it does the main thing anyway. So yeah, looks pretty rad, and it's white instead of black. That's how you be able to tell them apart if you're looking at both side by side. It's the white.
I'm looking at these. It's like, okay, what's the catch? And I think I understood the one with no quotation or no explanation. It just says no rotation support. That's probably the only one of these things that I understand.
So before with the other one, you can tell it to go vertical versus horizontal.
Yeah,
if you want to play like a top-down shoot 'em up, going up your screen instead of sideways or whatever.
Like the old like those old shooter games used to do on the cabinets.
Yep. So anyway, cool stuff. Check it out if you're interested in something like that. RetroTink 4K CE. All right, some more CES stuff. We got to take a peek at the AMD Z2 chips in the Lenovo Go 2, Lenovo Legion Go 2. Is that right? Or is it just Lenovo Legion 2?
Legion Go S, I think. And
No,
then
Go S is
Legion Go 2.
Yeah, the Go S is the one that has basically the same chipset as the Steam Deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AMD announced these new chips, and they're kind of underwhelming to me. I was hoping for more, I guess, but there's three chips. The Z2 Go that has 4 cores, 8 threads. It's based off of the older architecture. It's similar to the Steam Deck, only I think it has 4 more graphics cores.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Right. So it has RDNA 2, like the older technology. Then the Ryzen Z2, which is very similar to the Z1 Extreme, but I think it again has more graphics cores, doesn't it?
Has 12 graphics cores, and I thought the regular Z1 Extreme had 12 as well. I think
It's the same architecture too, right?
I think this is basically the same chip rebadged.
Yeah.
I'll double check while you keep going.
It says the vanilla Z2 has the same number of cores as today's existing Z1 Extreme with the same RDNA 3 and possibly the same CPU cores.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the Z2 is the Z1 Extreme. Like,
Yep, same chip.
what's the point? Then the Z2 Extreme, this one is the most interesting one. It has 16 graphics cores, so 4 more, as well as it's based off of the RDNA 3.5 architecture.
Yep.
And it has Zen 5. Well, it has a mix of 3 Zen 5 and 5 Zen 5C cores. So this one does look like a legitimate upgrade. I don't know if it's how big of a boost it would be over current Z1 Extreme. Wait for reviews on that, but it'll boost up to 35 watts TDP rather than 30. So if you want that giant graphics increase, it'll cost you some battery life. But we checked out the Lenovo Legion Go 2 at CES, and either they configured it horribly or it just wasn't impressive. Because it was running Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and it was slow.
Didn't look that good.
Yeah.
It was kind of poopy. They had to have been doing something wrong on there.
I hope so, because it was messed.
They needed a Jaren really to set that up.
There's a
Right?
couple of sections in some of these areas that I felt like they just kind of left them unattended.
Yeah, the sales
And
guys were
things
like
got messed up, and it's just
the
like you
atten-
need to keep. If you're going to show this stuff off, you need to keep someone technical close by
Yeah.
that can check on
Yeah.
it every
Yeah.
so often.
Was it the
'Cause I-
Asus booth that was showing off a 240 hertz OLED monitor, and they had a 30 FPS video
Yeah.
of it's not Deadlock. What is it called? The Valve game that everyone plays, Counter-Strike. They had a 30 FPS video of Counter-Strike that was extremely low resolution, like
What's even the
720p,
point?
blowing up to 4K. So yeah, these boosts they weren't great. In addition to the Z chips, AMD announced the 9900 X3D and the 9950 X3D. Basically the same goodness of the 9800 X3D, but with more cores. So people that are into productivity and video production, this would be the chip to go if you're into that and gaming.
gaming.
I
You'd
would
still
say-
recommend the 9800 X3.
If you're just gaming, for sure. If the majority of what you do on your computer is gaming, 9800 X3D is the way to go. The problem with the 9900 X3D is it's 12 cores, but it's separated between 2 CCDs, and so you have 6 cores on each one. So you only have 6 cores on the side that has the tasty 3D cache
Oh, they split it.
versus the 8 cores on a 9800 X3D. And when you're gaming, it's supposed to shut off the non-X3D stuff cores anyway. So you're gaming on a 6 core versus an 8 core, which, I guess for a lot of the time you might not notice a difference, but there are definitely games that will take advantage of those extra cores that you would notice a difference on. And then the 9950 X3D, same thing. You're getting 8 cores with the 3D V cache on one chiplet, and then 8 cores with no 3D V cache. So for productivity, yeah, it's great. You got your 16 cores that it can run things across. But when you're gaming, it's going to shut off those other 8 cores. So
Yeah,
you're
the
playing on
99
the equivalent of a 9800 X3D anyway.
The 9900 X3D doesn't really make sense to me
That's
as a
what
product.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Because you're not getting too much more on the X3D chips for productivity. But you're losing a lot with the 6 cores.
See, if I was to, and this is maybe there's a reason they don't do this, but if I was to design this chip, and some definite armchair quarterbacking going here, I would do 8 cores of X3D and then just 4 cores on the other chipset, the other CCD.
Right.
I'm sure the reason
you
they
d-
don't do that is because of the yield. They get chiplets that has 6 cores that work, and they save the ones that have 8 cores for the 9950 or the 9800. But either way, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So these new X3D chips come out in March.
Nice. I was a little worried when I bought the 9800 that I would get lusty after the 9950. I don't think I am though. It
Good for you.
Solid
doesn't
solid
seem to
purchase.
be.
It's not a big enough It's not a big enough uplift with the way they split those to make it worth it.
Especially not for gaming, and that's what I
Yeah.
use my computer for, probably
True.
75% of the time. So, all right, we got to talk a little bit of Nvidia, baby.
Again?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't talk
Did
about
we talk
the
about them last
software.
week?
We didn't talk about the software side, which is arguably more interesting.
Yeah, they glossed over this in their presentation because they focused a lot on AI. And we talked about some of the stuff, but I wanted to cover things we didn't cover last week. So Digital Foundry has a nice overview of this new tech from Nvidia, and it's super exciting. So the first one is called RTX Mega Geometry, and this is kind of similar to Nanite in Unreal Engine 5, but kind of not at the same time. So what Nanite does is it gets rid of LODs, or level of details. So if you've probably seen this in games before, the further away you get from an object, it switches to a less complex model, and the closer you get, it switches to a more complex model. And this is to save processing on your stuff, so they can put in more detail up close. Well, Nanite, it does this a whole lot more seamlessly, so that as you zoom out and zoom in, you shouldn't be able to notice any changes of the levels of detail.
Like that pop-in feature that it does.
No pop in. Yep.
Yep, no pop in. Mega Geometry takes this to the next level. So it does the same thing similar to Nanite, but the problem with Nanite is when you add in ray tracing, it has issues with the changing of the levels of detail.
Yeah, it
Whereas
has to
with-
rerun all the rays every time it changes.
Every time you get closer, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes ray tracing super expensive from a processing standpoint. Well, Mega Geometry makes it so you get that awesome level of detail as well as more efficient ray tracing against that level of detail. So you'll get perfect shadows, perfect reflections, well, close as you can get with current real-time rendering. But it's amazing stuff. It should make games look a whole lot more detailed. Digital Foundry mentioned that this feature should be coming to Alan Wake 2. I'm super interested in that. Alan Wake 2 is almost perfect graphically, in my opinion. The big thing I noticed, however, was when the levels of detail did change, you could see the lighting change completely. So, sometimes there was a part of a mountain that would disappear, and in a normal rasterized game, you really wouldn't see any change in lighting. But with ray tracing, once that section of the game map disappeared, the lighting changed too. So something suddenly became bright, and this is something that Mega Geometry should be able to solve. Another thing Mega Geometry does is it allows, so you know how plants in games look, right? It's basically geometry with little alpha textures. So basically 2D sprites placed over 3D
That's why
models.
sometimes as you rotate around it, they disappear because you're staring at them straight from the side.
Yep. Mega Geometry makes plants fully geometric, no more 2D sprite stuff, and so it really increases the level of detail for nature. And rendering has been pretty great for man-made objects for quite a while, but when it comes to looking at plants and trees and stuff, you can really see the seams, and this really should help with that, which is awesome. All right, so moving on to the next one, Neural Materials. We kind of touched on this last time, but Neural Materials, this makes textures in games look phenomenal. The examples that Digital Foundry gave was a cloth. They showed the before and after. Before, it was just basically a normal textured blanket that you would see in a game. But when they enabled Neural Materials, it made it look like the texture, the cloth have different layers. So there was a shiny top layer that the lighting interplayed with the bottom layer. It made it look fantastic. And that's just basically AI upscaling the texture itself. And it should also result in lower storage sizes for textures also.
I was going to say, I think this is the one that you can take a 64 kilobyte texture and then have it shrink down to a 16 kilobyte texture, but look better than the 64 kilobyte texture did.
Yeah. So smaller download sizes
Or
with
megabyte or whatever.
with better looks. So it's pretty cool. The last one, they touched on this briefly in the keynote, neural faces. This one I'm not a fan of yet. It's basically using deepfake technology to replace a video game face with a AI face. They try to retain the same features, but it still looks off to me.
Yeah, it's firmly in the uncanny valley.
Yeah, and to be fair, they're very early in on this one. They're just kind of showing off of their research as it stands right now. So this one will probably need some more time in the oven. Mm-hmm. But pretty awesome stuff. Like generally, I'm not a fan of a lot of injecting AI into things that really don't need it. But in this case, like Nvidia is killing it. They're as Alex McTalia said on Digital Foundry, they're 5 years ahead of the competition.
Yep. I just like too the fact that they announced all the stuff for DLSS 4, and almost all of it is backwards compatible with all the RTX cards, 20 series, 30 series, 40 series. The only thing that isn't is the multi-frame generation stuff, but expect when that rolls out, DLSS 4 for your 20 series, 30 series, 40 series cards to get an improvement in the performance as well as an improvement in how it looks. So yeah, they're just doing some really cool stuff. All right, I think that wraps it up for us. That is the end.
Hold on. I got a couple things.
What?
No, you don't.
I do.
Nothing in your.
We were
under
way
your
over
name.
time.
Lando's
look
face right now.
Look
It's
at
priceless.
that. Look at my points.
Oh.
So you might have noticed that we were some social media posts during the CES event.
Oh, did your points actually update finally?
So if you go back to the site, if you go back now to the browser page, it has a button that says "Email me my PIN," and you can log in and see your PIN. So one of the things Nvidia did was really shill for its partners, and so they set up a whole game with the top prize being assigned 4080.
Did you win?
We don't know yet. I don't think so.
You had to have more than 16 points to
yeah,
have an entry. So no, you didn't win.
Who knows? Jensen made me and him are pretty. I mean, we're pretty tight. Yeah,
like, you know
I was within the first 70 rows of chairs at the keynote, and I think
right.
that
You made eye contact.
I was in a walking aisle, so like I think there's a fairly it's not zero. Okay, the
Non-zero chance.
Non-zero chance. But so much traffic was driven to all these different partners that NVIDIA announced in the keynote because NVIDIA put these little placards there with a little QR code that you would scan to get points with different prizes being. And it was crappy because we got halfway through and then we gave up because our points weren't updating.
Yep.
And Jaren didn't want to shill. But Jaren never
I'm not a
shills.
shill.
To be fair, Jaren...
I love shilling.
He has standards, and he refuses,
Shilling like a
absolutely.
villain.
I have none, because, like we've talked about so many times, my line is whatever I can get for free.
Free stuff, good.
Free, I'll take 2. And I think we've improved this on the trip when Tony offered me a nerd rope, and I was like, yeah. Wait, what is it?
Yeah.
You know?
Hey,
And
you
I
want one of these? Yes. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I do want one of those.
Yeah.
Speaking of shilling, can I shill the Patreon now?
Ooh, I wish you could. But as we...
No, you don't. Oh, that hurts.
Anyway, I just wanted to say those did update. We were driven to booths we probably wouldn't have gone to because of Nvidia. They used their platform. Yeah, definitely would not have gone to. They used their leverage to promote a bunch of gaming nerds who would never go see these robotics or other stuff. To go there and take pictures. You had to answer questions, take quiz. At one point, I got really harassed by Jaren and Tony because they told me to go get a pin from Nikon. No.
Oh, that wasn't anything to do with the Nvidia thing.
Now you're
That was
just
a totally separate.
That wasn't part of it?
no.
totally
it wasn't.
conflating.
You're
Makes
just letting
sense.
Owen frickin' ramble. This is why I don't give Owen a microphone.
Only
He
doing
just goes
this.
and goes.
I'm
"No."
only doing this to piss off Lando. To be fair, I'm
All
just
right.
trying to add minutes.
All right, Pop.
course
It's
you
time for
are.
bed. Let's
Okay.
move on to the. Let's
Anyway,
move on to the
I'm gonna see how
Patreon.
fast I can do this. So if Patreon is awesome, first and foremost, Patreon is awesome. For
They can
$1
take
a
you to
month,
places like
super
Boots
secret Discord
for
channel.
Nvidia.
You get the show all at once and early, ad free. It's the best way to listen to the show. You get it via a super secret special RSS feed from Patreon itself.
Go to CES.
It's the best way to do it.
I want the Nikon pen.
If you give us $6 more,
It took me a
Jaron
long
gets you
time
shout out in
too.
the air. Jaron's gonna shout out your name now. Jaron, do the thing.
So, can you send me that link, Owen?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I will. I
Yeah, I
absolutely
want
will.
my pin too.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Let me grab that link. It's
In the meantime, Jaron, let's hear the Patreon names.
Okay. The Patreon names are as follows. What's wrong, Orlando?
Jaron
Thank you
Bonds.
to David Broshinsky, who happened to win a tournament in the in-between. Thank you.
yeah, bro.
Yeah. Interrupting Cal, Aaron Faulkner, Connor Keesaw, and Steam Cell, but my backlog. Engage the Core, Jason Eatmon, download MSI Autoburner today. I like you high. Be the 8-year-old. Problem with mis chones is munchy meatballs. Kyle, Lando is the Patreon simp. What's his face? Tony the Excel and Power Apps nerd. Travis Johnson buy Geekshow Arcade Help Desk stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to lead George K's medical bills. Jeremy, No Name No Color, Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, the in-between rating plus 30. You know how I always dread the whole year? Well, in 2025, I'm only going to dread one day at a time. DP, Lambo leaps lovingly while longing for letters from Lang. Wesley,
do.
Adam, Stuart Lloyd, everyone has an excuse, but only the guilty use it. And finally, so-and-so.
All right. Thank you so much, Patreon backers. You are awesome.
You know, next week or next time we record, we gotta tell my slot machine.
Oh,
my
yeah,
slot
we forgot to
machine
do that
story.
in the in-between. We'll tell it next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
Let's do it right now.
Next week.
Nope, in between. That is in between content.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, this episode, downloading us, and having a good time. We're out of here. This week's over. We'll see you next week. But until then, Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.
He took Lando out.